Morning. Please excuse my voice. I'm getting over a cold, so it might sound like I'm underwater, but I have come up out of the water. So I felt the last few months God calling and kind of nudging me to share my story with you all. I do a lot here. I try and do a lot here at St. John's. I've been part of this community my entire life. I help out with church suppers. You entrust me with your kids. Still don't understand that, but that's fine. No, you entrust me with your kids every week, every Sunday, and so I just feel like it's only fair that I share myself with you all, because even though I've grown up with a lot of you don't know my story. So to start out, I'm the youngest of 4 siblings, 3 sisters and a brother. I lost my father at age 6, and I lost one of my older sisters about 6 years ago. Her name, Christina Skids, is on the building next door, and she helped start the End 68 Hours of Hunger program. At age 3, I was diagnosed with childhood leukemia. This was the first example that I can think of that God asked me to step up or come up, and even at a young age. And I believe he also asked you all who were here at the time and my family to step up as well with prayers and strength through the very long and painful process of kicking cancer's butt. But by being here is obviously proof that you all helped and the prayers helped, and I've overcome that. However, there have been some life-altering side effects to the chemo and radiation that the 80s and 90s treatments have brought that I still have to overcome. Obesity is one of the more common traits to childhood survivors of cancer, so I've been battling that my whole life. Also have some minor heart conditions, and I have psoriasis as well, which flares up from time to time. Academically, though, I was diagnosed with ADHD and some cognitive memory issues, but that wasn't seen until about high school. So all through school, I really struggled a lot, actually. Majority of my school days were very rough academically, and wasn't until probably my junior year in high school that they diagnosed me with ADHD, and I got received the proper modifications to my schoolwork. Struggling with being overweight and shy. I know that's, for some of you, probably hard to believe, but I was extremely shy in high school, and I really didn't think much of myself, so I tried to be like my siblings. One of them was one of my older sisters, who was a strong athlete. She and still is. She swam alongside Jenny Thompson. She was a basketball star, a softball, and field hockey star. That didn't really go over too well with my overweight and non-athletic abilities that tried and failed. Then I tried to be like my brother, who was academically, no problems for him, and also he was extremely popular and in drama club, and so I tried that route, but being shy and having very low self-esteem, that didn't really happen either. So basically, I tried to be like my siblings, who were in my eyes at the time perfect. But God would soon show me that I am and was an individual, and I would just need to fight through school in order to see who I really am. I was bullied constantly all through school, K through 12. Being overweight and shy and being kind of the loner. Kind of had my foot in the drama club door, but was too shy to actually try out for anything, so I spent most of it behind the scenes. I did have a few friends, but for the most part, I was ridiculed and made fun of for being overweight and some of my bad habits. I couldn't be myself. I couldn't act like myself because I was too scared to be called a freak or weird. I've since embraced my kooky, silly self, and which is one of the reasons why I think I get along so well with your kids. because they embrace that. Kids embrace anything that's fun and silly. So, but I did battle because of my bullying and very low self-esteem. I did, majority of my school days, fight depression and suicidal thoughts. The only thing that got me through school and through my childhood and adolescence was music and this church. Looking back, I think this would be another example that God was asking me to step up. He wanted me to fight for my life and show me a future that only He knew about and knew that was right for me. He encouraged me through music, through Christian music, and other forms of music that I listened to, and the people here at St. John's through youth group and Wanakee and JCC, which was the student-led by Steve McKenzie, the performance group, I guess you could call it. We call ourselves Jesus Christ and Company. And as many of you know, I do love my music. Kind of have an obsession with musicals, maybe just a little bit. Smidge. But there's one band and one song that I remember that would get me through my adolescence. And it's a band called Skillet, and they have a song called The Last Night. And it's sung by God's point of view, and He's singing to someone who doesn't feel understood by their parents or their peers or their family, and they're ready to take their own life. And I'm just going to read the chorus because I don't think we have the time to actually have me sing the whole song. This is the last night you'll spend alone. Look me in the eyes so I know you know. I'm everywhere you want me to be. The last night you'll spend alone. I'll wrap you in my arms and I won't let go. I'm everything you need me to be. So through songs like that, a youth group, Wanakee, I did make it through my adolescence. And by my senior year in high school, I figured out that I could get through anything and that God was there for me. So by college, I wanted to continue my path with God, and so I joined campus ministry. And I tried attending a new church, not that I didn't love this church, but it was a little closer to campus. And I quickly found Christian friends that I grew to love and to have a very close relationship with. And I actually became truly happy for the first time in my life. So college was a way for me, and I think many people, to kind of find out who they really are away from home. And in finding more of myself, I came to the realization that I would need to come out as a lesbian. And now, it being the early 2000s, still wasn't very kosher to be in the LGBT community, but I felt confident in my new friends and my new family on the campus ministry that they would accept me. Unfortunately, I was wrong. And a few people in that group, not the entire group, but a few people in that group broke my heart. They told me that I was not welcome back to their group or the church until I came to my senses. So again, I recluded into myself, and I felt unworthy of God and His love and those around me. So needless to say, I felt a little soured by Christianity and the church. And around this time, I was in my early 20s, graduating college. And I just want to point out that I understand it wasn't the entire church, it wasn't the entire group. And I have since forgiven and made peace with the people who hurt me. I'm still good friends, actually, with quite a few from the original small group I was in. I don't have any ill will towards any of them or anger towards people who disagree with me and my beliefs, because I don't do the same for them. So after moving home for various reasons, I started bringing my mom back to church. And I was approached and asked to be part of St. John's United Methodist, schooling. I don't know what the term's called. You all were becoming a reconciling church. And this was new to me. This church was going through a transfiguration, if you will. And this was a time that God asked you all to step up, whether you knew it or not, and to show me that there are Christians and those who love people like me. That not all Christians or churches feel the same or view the same way, and even if they don't, it doesn't matter. You answered the call, and you believe in Jesus' teachings of love, and I thank him every day that I have finally found a church home that accepts me in all my weird and kooky glory. You still trust me with your kids every Sunday. And some of you even shared my most important day of my life, my wedding and my marriage to my wife, Jen. It means more to me than you can ever know, that you were all there, that I can come into the house of God and not feel ridiculed or judged. I'm not very good at memorizing scriptures, but there's one that I refer to on a regular basis, especially when I run into judgment or ridicule as for being gay and a Christian. 1 John 4:16 talks about how God is love. And if God is love, those who abide in love abide in God. And God calls us to step up in our lives, not always for others, sometimes it's even for ourselves. Looking back, the times I stopped trying to run my own life and run into my own direction and let go of the reins, so to speak, and let God take over, he would put me in his direction. And those times were times that I felt the happiest. And yes, there's bumps in the road, and yes, I'll probably continue to feel judgment and ridicule. I think everybody has times where they feel like that. But I'm the happiest I've ever been, and that's because I've let my guard down and I've let God in. And you all are reason for that, for continuing to accept me every week, and my family support. And I have some of the strongest relationships with my niece and my sister and my brother and my mother. So God asks us to step up, to let our guard down, and to let love in. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it doesn't go the way we want it to, but I feel loved here. And so God asked me to step up and serve him in this world, at the middle school, at the youth group, because I want to show the kids that there's more to life than middle school drama. And I want them to experience middle school and youth group and just adolescence differently than I did. I don't want anybody to go through what I did. So I strive every day to make your kids and the kids here in the community feel loved and accepted, and that there's always at least one person who will have their back. So I guess I have a question for you all. If God is calling up to step in your life and he calls you, what is your answer going to be?
I'm all choked up. Tish, we love you so much, and we are so proud of you, and we know God is proud of you and for the work you are doing in our midst and in our community. Praise God.